I own all 56 of TDS's towers, and I thought it'd be funny to try to beat Fallen mode with all of them. It was not funny, it ended up being very serious business. I decided to run this in the most efficient manner possible, which meant I didn't bring any repeat towers between teams, so this was the only match I got to farm during, which was nice, because I did bring some expensive towers. This is pretty much my go-to sweaty tryhard loadout. It's fun, covers all the bases, it's pretty OP. My team and I easily cruised through Fallen mode. I mean, this is the hashtag Chud Life loadout, the tryhard loadout, so you'd expect that, but yeah, we're Bing chillin'. That's still relevant, right? We earned the win easily. This was by far the strongest loadout of this video. Things immediately took a turn with the next setup. So this is a team of event towers, but moreover, these are the 5 event towers I was unable to get normally because I don't own a time machine. I wasn't playing the game when these were available. I had to wait over the course of multiple years for the developers to re-release them all during limited time sales. But I did get them all. It only took $40 and half a decade of waiting. Now I can play Swarmer in a Match of Fallen mode. How awesome. Shifting into gameplay mode, for this and a lot of the upcoming loadouts, I would have to rely on my teammates rather heavily, because these loadouts were mostly stupid mode, but in this match in particular, the event towers ended up saving the run. My teammates skimped out on flying detection, and it was only thanks to my Commandos and Frost Blasters that we were able to take out the Fallen Angel mini-boss. Go me. This loadout was mildly impressive. Why do we low-key got like a devious setup going on here? This is like a joke loadout, but low-key, noticing. We made it to wave 40, where I decided to focus on Swarmer. This tower's thing has always been its ability to kill bosses with its B stacking, and it did not disappoint. B him. Okay, we're B'ing him. We're being the Fallen King. How many can we get? Can we get like, probably not 1,000. Okay, we are absolutely getting the B goobing off here. 266 stacks of Bs, you know, that's not bad. I like Swarmer a lot. It's really funny to watch the bees do their thing. I don't know how much they helped in general, but they definitely did some decent damage. Alright, we stacked 322 bees. This loadout was low-key gas. Like, everything had really good synergy. Aside from like 3 of the 5 towers. But other than those, I mean, Commando is decent to be fair. Slasher and Archer did not do anything, but half the loadout being useless is kind of a reoccurring theme for a lot of these runs. See also, explosive towers are generally good. Bringing a full team of them is like pulling up to the golf course with 5 wedge clubs. This one was a toughie. It feels like explosive towers in particular really don't do much on their early levels. You kinda need those big upgrades. I ended up failing 3 separate runs before I was eventually able to nab a win, which I did mainly off the back of Mortar and Rocketeer and my teammates carrying me. But yeah, that sucked. Even if you want crowd control, ooh, I said crowd control, it makes more sense to balance things out a bit. Take, for example, this next loadout.
Brought to you by Electrons, making your world a brighter place.
The idea I had here was to use the 2 electricity-based stunning towers to stall out and clump up the zombies so that the other towers with their piercing abilities could deal big damage. I thought it wasn't a half bad idea, but I lost a lot, so it probably was. There might have been a bit of redundancy with my bringing both Electroshocker and the Tesla. I mean, we kind of got a bit of a you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about situation going on with these two towers here. Tesla Mog's Electroshocker. Yeah, it's just way cooler. Necromancer was my main damage dealer here, and it did pretty well. I've never been the biggest fan of this tower just because of how finicky it is to have to micromanage the graves, but it is pretty strong, especially when you get those big fat skeleton units going. It did enough. My team carried me again. I got the win. After that, though, I needed a palette cleanser. I needed a real, legitimate, good loadout.
They're talking about us. We're fighting.
Oh, don't mind if I do.
Obviously, bringing 5 melee towers is dumb as hell, but it's kind of fun. Unlike the explosive towers, this loadout at least has some depth. Sledger can freeze, Warden can stun, Brawler can knock back and also jump around, Warlock has its mixed attacking, and Gladiator. This tower is literally older than piss, but somehow it's still being rebalanced in 2026, which is kinda neat, honestly. My strategy here was just to place a bunch of towers at the corners of the map and try to help out my team with the hordes, which worked out okay, but the Fallen King was a different story. My melee towers are probably not gonna be doing a whole lot here. That's kind of always the problem with the melee towers, right? They just like suck mega balls against any boss because their range is so tiny. I guess I do have Warlock. Warlock will be pretty good here. This tower's unique quirk is that it functions as a hybrid attacker. It uses melee and zombies in close quarters, and it also has a ranged attack with a pretty large radius. So that was really my only unit doing anything to the boss. But it was enough. I did contribute to this win, guys. It was all thanks to Gladiator. Gladiator still got it, bro. Still serving DPS the old-fashioned way. Shout out to Gladiator, got the triumph. Glad also could have been in the event towers I had to buy the game passes for Loadout, but I thought it fit better here, you know, so yeah. I want to kind of have a theme for all of these loadouts, which becomes very evident with this next one. Bit of a hot take, I've kind of fallen out of love with the path unit spawning towers, just cause they feel very weak. It's like a psychological thing. Seeing all my hard-earned units die in one collision with a big zombie is just... aww. Man, David versus Goliath. The fallen giant won. I maxed out my elf camps, because I like elf camp, but otherwise I didn't invest too much in the spawner units. Instead, I focused on ace pilots and turrets, which dealt enough DPS to aid my team's winning effort. Not much to say about this run, except, fun fact time, this skin I was using for the ace pilot has an odd visual bug in the tower inventory menu. Can you see what it is? I used to eat rocks as a kid. That's your fun fact for the day. So this is the Ducky Loadout, aka Accelerator and 4 Bums. I formulated a soft game plan here, which was pretty much to just get Cowboys to start. I was using the normal version because I'm not a tryhard. To get money, to get accelerators, to deal big damage, to win. Flawless, right? A wrench was thrown in that plan though. A fittingly duck-themed wrench. Oh boy, here come the flyings. None of my teammates wanted any blind detection, so we're hashtag bossing it up here. I had to invest a bunch of money into hunters and militants purely for their flying detection. And that wasn't even enough, so I had to use a nuke to save the run, and that just sucked. One of my teammates placed like 10 Pyromancers for some reason, and the zombies were not the only thing we were struggling with. Holy moly, brother. I'm gonna have to feed this game to the ducks with the amount of lag. Going into the late game, I started to suffer pretty significant frame drops. And like, it's TDS in 2026, the game does get pretty framey, but this was next level. Or I guess like lower level. It was bad. Okay, I think we're about to lose. It's a little hard to tell with this frame rate. Oh, we tanked it, wow. The performance issues were not the most pressing issues. The most pressing issue was that we were about to lose. Pro used a supply drop like that's gonna save us. I might have to pop my monster. I might have to pop it. I might have to pop it. I don't want to pop it this early. I tried to preserve my Molten Monster power-up because I knew it was essentially our only shot at winning. And also I'm starting to run out with how many I'm going through for these videos. But my hand was forced. I'm popping it. Oh! I think we're screwed, I'm gonna be honest. The Molten Monster kept us alive, but my teammates didn't have a ton of DPS, so it was really down to my accelerators to kill the final boss. And to be fair, if any tower can do it, Excel was actually reworked in early 2026, and I don't know if the community officially considers this a buff or a nerf, but it's still really strong. And now it's immune to stuns, which feels almost surreal. Like, Accelerator not getting farmed by every boss, Accelerator actually being able to do something without medic? Huh? What? That can't be right. The new version of the tower is very expensive though, and I was still working on maxing all of them out, even as the Fallen King spawned. My other towers weren't doing much. Dude, I got the Trapper in the back here. It's at level 2. It's putting in that big work. Got my accelerators trying to max them all out. Dude, I had to spend all my money on Hunters and Militants because we had no flying detection. Now we're starting to see the problem there. The final wave was pretty tense, made more so by the constant lag spikes, but we had just enough gas in the tank. Oh yeah, we got this. Dude, that was the most stressful TDS match I've played in my life. My god. No way this guy's using the bow emote. Like, he didn't just place 20 Pyromancers in the most incongruous spots. Well, he left. GG. That was my 4th attempt with that loadout, so I was a bit irritated, if you couldn't tell by my complaining about my teammate, but hey, the ducky loadout brought home the bread. With TDS being as old of a game as it is, it feels like most new units end up with rather complex gimmicks to help them stand out. Unique abilities, different passive effects, split upgrade paths. It can feel like a little much sometimes for someone who used to eat rocks. That said, the modern units do have their upside. Hacker is a tower that's really grown on me, both for its unique gimmicks and abilities, and for its incredibly slick design. And the remade medic is pretty fun too. It's a big improvement on the old version, which was only ever used for the ability micro. Modern medic is a lot more interesting and versatile. These two towers in particular were the focus of this team. The others were mainly there to provide support and color coordinate for the intro card. As my team and I defended early, I tried to focus on getting upgrades for Hacker, although it is a somewhat pricey tower. Dude, I did not have the money for this upgrade, but I really need the 5th gen i9-3260590327. I think with that, we'll be able to really handle these zombies more effectively. Going into the late game, I set up a bunch of power-up shields for my teammates with medic, and I used Hacker's ability to clone accelerators for extra damage, which made me feel like a big man, but all that might not have been even necessary, as we downed the Fallen King breezily. I've been saying easily too much, I needed a different word. Anyways, from one strong tower to the next, I then hopped in game with
the ultimate football phenomenon, Cristiano Ronaldo. The thing standing between you and this $1 million in your bank account is Ronaldo.
This loadout is kinda built around one tower in particular, that being Gatling gun. The other units are mostly there to provide support and be in Mr. Beast videos. Gatling is one of the strongest towers in the game's history. They literally made a match modifier whose only function is to ban the tower for certain events. That's how good it is. But I don't like it. In fact, I kinda dislike Gatling Gun for reasons I'll get into. In-game, it was my most expensive tower, so I used Pyromancers and a Toxic Gunner to defend early. My teammates helped out, and by wave 15, I scrounged up enough money for the tower. And yes, this is horrible placement. At the time, I didn't realize Gatling Gun could go on cliffs, whoopsies. Even if I had placed it in a better spot though, it wouldn't have really changed my opinion of this tower. Because, of course, Gatling Gun's gimmick is that, to get the most damage out of it, you have to toggle an ability which places you in the driver's seat, allowing you to play as the tower and aim the shots yourself. But all it is this. It's not very dynamic. I don't have a ton of good footage to show because I was sitting on Gatling Gun most of the match, but yeah, got the win. It was okay. Spotlight Technician is cool, I like that tower. It's a bit tough to tell with all of these skins on, but these are 5 of the oldest towers in TDS. All of whom have gone through multiple reworks and redesigns, and all of whom are pretty iconic. I mean, Commander is damn near the mascot of the game at this point. Admittedly not the anime girl skin version, but still. Again, I wasn't using golden skins because I'm not tryhard, so my DPS options were fairly lackluster. Instead of trying for damage, I focused on getting 3 commanders early, so I could start chaining its Call to Arms ability, as that was really the most helpful thing I could do here. With my teammates rocking powerful towers, it wasn't too hard to triumph. I placed the funny guest scout at the end to clip farm, and that finished things, which just left 1 loadout. Along with one other caveat, but first, this loadout doesn't really have a theme, it's kinda just the last set of towers which didn't fit anywhere else. It was at least somewhat adept for early defense, thanks to one tower in particular. It's time for Paintballer to go ham here. It's only $100 actually. A tower can suck, but if it's only $100, like, surely it can't be that bad for $100, right? I spammed Paintballer to try to allow my teammates to get farming, and it did okay. Paintballer season? We bringing Paintballer back in 2026? No. Sniper and Soldier were dead weight here, so I focused on Harvesters and Biologists throughout the mid to late game. More so Harvesters. This tower's DPS is actually fairly respectable, especially if you use its Thorns ability. And you know what? I'll say it. Paintballer was low-key contributing. Dude, look at this. Paintballer dealt 40k, 40k, 25k, 25k, 30k, 30k. Oh my god. Dude, look at how much damage these have all done. It's Paintballer season, bro. In 2026, we bring Paintballer back. My team and I did have enough damage to squeak out the win, though, which was 55 out of 56 towers triumphant. Obviously, there's one too many towers in the game for it to divide perfectly into 11 loadouts. But I knew this going in. I planned ahead and decided to save a decently strong tower for last. A tower which could hold its own even in a loadout by itself and still contribute and help my team somewhat, even if a one tower setup is obviously very suboptimal. Thus, the final loadout of this video is no, I'm not kidding, it was so many rocks. Okay, so I know this tower has a reputation, but it has some upside. It's very cheap, it has no placement limit, it can deal splash damage, it has the freezing effect, it has flying detection, and going into my first attempt, I was hopeful. A teammate and I set up early defense, and we were holding our own, dealing some big damage, taking out the zombies. Why does it say the tower's only done 11 damage? It does 4 damage per hit. There's no way it's only done 11 damage, bro. That's not even physically possible. Snowballer has, some would say, a couple flaws, but it is a very cheap tower, and one of few in the entire game with only 3 levels. Thus, I was able to max one out by wave 7, which is just, you don't really get to see that with normal towers. And only 5 waves later, I got another pair of Snowballers fully upgraded, which was great. Except, unfortunately, Snowballer does not have hidden detection. That might be a bit of an issue here. Hopefully these Cowboys can do enough. I don't think they will be able to. Yeah, they did not do enough. Well, we are dead. Unfortunately, my Snowballer could not get it done. I think my teammate just used a revive ticket. Aren't we just gonna lose again? Because we still don't have any hidden detection. My teammates were forced to burn several power-ups, which let us progress past wave 12. Yay! And this is where Snowballer really started to shine. Oh yeah, dude, look at the damage! Look at the freezing effect from the Snowballer. It's slowing the boss down substantially. It being such a cheap tower is a bit of a double-edged sword, though. Well, it's only wave 25, but this is my last Snowballer maxed out. And now I have nothing I can really do except sit here. This tower does not really scale into the late game, and the issue with that quickly became apparent. I kinda thought Snowballer's flying detection would mean these guys weren't so tough, but it appears Snowballer is doing about 2 damage to them. The downward slide only continued from there. Now this is becoming a little bit vexing, I confess. So, I think Snowballer might be our only actually good tower here. Clearly my teammates are not doing a whole lot, because we're about to lose. Are my teammates even aware of what's going on back here? We can almost eat that. We couldn't. They used another revive ticket. This is our 3rd attempt at this. Surely it will work better. We were able to make it past that wave on our next attempt, but another major test arrived on wave 33. Alright, the Fallen Angel. This is where Snowballer proves its worth, because it does have flying detection. Let's see Snowballer, let's see it. Let's see the big damage. Dude, what? Wait, this Snowballer isn't even maxed out, what am I doing? But also, this does 33 damage a shot. How is it doing this little damage? Snowballer f***ing sucks. Dude, this is the worst tower I've seen in my life. Oh my lord. We're doing this a 4th time, let's go. I was starting to feel like Sisyphus if he'd been burdened with a big-ass snowball. But for this next attempt, I made an effort to be more proactive. I moved more of my Snowballers as the boss progressed along the track, and with some more upgrades and power-ups for my teammates, we made it past the wave. Wowzers. The Fallen Honor Guard was, surprisingly enough, a complete pushover. I don't really know how, but I'll take it. Maybe the Snowballer's splash damage was the difference maker. Somehow, someway, we managed to make it to wave 40, where I prepared to try to snowball the Fallen King. Come on, Snowballer, freeze the Fallen King. Use your Ice Blast. I guess Snowballer could make a decent bait tower, because it's so cheap. What I learned throughout the making of this video is that the final wave is really not that challenging in Fallen mode. It's getting there that can be tough. The Fallen King himself is a bit of a pushover. Okay, you know what? I take back everything I said. Snowballer, absolute beast mode. Absolute demon slayer here. Look at how much damage it's doing to the Fallen King. How is this still level 2? I swear I literally upgraded this exact one already. What the heck was that? We won. First try, 2. If you ignore the 3 times we died. Overall, I'd say this whole video was worth it, just to see Snowballer standing there alone on the Triumph screen. Also, I can't believe I did this entire video and I didn't even get the Fallen King's logbook. Bro, I killed that guy like at least 10 times. Logbooks are so dumb. That's a topic for another day though. So yeah, Fallen beaten with every tower. It's too bad there aren't like Binding of Isaac-esque checkmarks for each tower with all the game modes. That's actually a very, very good idea, if I do say so myself. The devs should do that. Please pay me. I know some people are gonna be like, ooh, actually, you didn't use any of the golden perks, and technically, those make the towers different towers, so it's not every tower. To preemptively disparage those comments, I went ahead and won with a full golden tower loadout twice. I had to do 2 runs because they can't all fit into 5 tower slots. Checkmate! Haha. And I know some other people are gonna be like, ooh, you didn't use the dev towers, so technically it's not every tower. I mean, yeah, you owned me. Subscribe, like, comment, like, comment, comment.